All right, y'all, we back at it. This is episode 4 of the 99 Dream podcast. 99 Dream podcast because you're going to achieve your dream. It will be 100%, but nobody's perfect. So you're going to achieve 99% of that. And I ain't gonna lie, I'm pretty mad right now because I just recorded this thing 2 times and both times my video got messed up. So this is my third try, but it is what it is. We're going to keep it rolling. So what I want to talk about for this podcast is kind of about disturbances and disappointments in your life that kind of can affect, other areas of your life, things that can affect your business. So that's kind of the main topic for that. But I also want to give my daily business update for the week and then also some lessons learned from the week. And I kind of have a couple of those, so I'll probably just go through like the list and kind of give an explanation of each and kind of why, those experiences, I think, deserve the reason for me to highlight it and, the podcast. So I know before I was saying that I want to be able to get like an introduction, like a phrase or something, like all my favorite rappers, they have their go-to things. So I know we need to have one for this community, something that's definitely cool, something that when people hear, it, perks their ears, but it also signifies that this community will give value. So I'm going to have to continue thinking about that, but I know it's probably going to take me some time. I'm going to have to start throwing out some random phrases and just trying them out and then see how they go. Because I know in my outro, I think I have that locked in a little bit. So I need to work on the intro and really get that thing rolling. So for the business update of the week, last week I said that by this time I should have a shipment being delivered from one of my manufacturers, and this is almost done. I almost achieved that. So the next step that I'm on right now is putting in my payment for the sample shipment to come in. The manufacturer quoted me $50 for the shipping cost for the sample. About a couple weeks ago when I was talking to another manufacturer, they highlighted that the shipping cost was $30. So just for my own sake, so I kind of get a little bit of understanding about the process of the shipping. I want to understand, why is this $50? Why would it be a $20 increase from, the other manufacturers? So what kind of goes into that? Is it going to be air freight, shipping freight? How long is this perspective? How long is the shipping going to take? What is the lead time for this? Or just understand, why is this $50? Just so in the future, when I go forth with other manufacturers and I'm contacting them, I have more of an understanding of why they're charging me that specific price, and I just don't go into things blindly and I'm just swiping my card. So also in that, this will probably be the only manufacturer that I will be receiving a product from. This is not something that I wanted to do initially. Before, I wanted to have a list of manufacturers that I would receive products from, but the way things kind of ended up after me trying to contact a lot of these manufacturers and not, receiving a response and not being, an ample response and or they're not answering my questions correctly. It kind of led me to only one manufacturer. So that kind of has like two thoughts in my mind. I'm questioning if, for me, do I need to go back and, go a little bit harder at trying to find more manufacturers and, pushing harder at trying to make these communication channels between these manufacturers, or if that's just what happens when, you go through your manufacturers. Because I did send out my message to a bunch of them, and this is the only manufacturer that came back correct, answered my questions specifically and correctly, laid out and in a very clear fashion. So, at this point, because this is my only product, this is like my initiation or introduction into this industry, I'm not sure what is the specific process for due diligence, and this is kind of something that I'm learning as I go on. But I will say for the future, I want to continue to improve processes. So when I move on to my second product, then I'm going to have 3 samples from 3 different manufacturers, and that is just okay for now to have this one manufacturer just roll with it and just go, because I know that myself, I'm trying to have pace in this company, constantly pushing my foot on the gas so I don't stay stagnant or, stay paralyzed in one specific, procedure throughout my process. And Nehemiah Davis, who's a big entrepreneur, one of his quotes is that he says is that success loves speed. So that's what I'm trying to fall into. Just like I said, keeping that pace and being able to move forward as fast as I can with this initial product, just so I can get out there and start my endeavors and see if I can make money and see how things go. And then from there, like I said, improve my processes. So some lessons for my week. I did have a couple, so I'm just going to go down the list. And the first one from this week I want to talk about is about sacrifice. So I went, into this endeavor to be an entrepreneur knowing that I would need to sacrifice, knowing that I would need to put my business above other things. Last week I did highlight a little bit about balanced priorities and state that, at this point in my life, my school and my job offers are a little bit more senior to my company, but is my social life, is me, watching TV, putting on a movie or just being distracted by minuscule things, is that senior and is not. So me realizing of when I need to put my business first, whenever I do have a break time, that it needs to be dedicated to the business. And it's kind of easy to do that for a week or two, but now that I've been in this process for this time period, I realize that you constantly have to be focused, and every day you're making that decision to work on your business. And it does make it easier knowing that this is fully what I wanted to do. So when I do, latch down and start working, it's something that, I'm interested in and I'm excited to do. And it doesn't feel too much like work, but it is work at the end of the day. So, just making sure that, I can sacrifice the things that I needed to do. And before I came and started my journey, I told myself that I would sacrifice anything that I needed in order for my business to be successful. And I don't want to lie to myself, so I have to try to keep true to my promise and, just keep sacrificing the things that, aren't going to lead me to success, whatever that may look like, whatever fashion or form that may be in. Also, I'll say this week, I started making excuses. So it was about 3 days that I missed on certain tasks that I do. So I usually read 10 pages from 2 books every day. And that ended up falling off for 1 day. And then that led to 2. And then that led to 3. And in the moment when I was missing it, I told myself excuses. I had the big week the previous week. So I told myself that it was okay for me to let off the gas a little bit. But looking back on it and thinking about it now, it just makes me sick, knowing that, I couldn't stay consistent and that there's really no excuse to not read 10 pages of a book, because how long is that really going to take? 30, 45 minutes max. There's no reason, no excuse that could have been made for me to not have achieved that task on my to-do list. No reason. Also, I was doing this previously and it was on my to-do list to, pray 3 times a day, have that daily contact with God, go through Psalms 91, which is kind of like a declaration statement of scripture of kind of like just what God's blessings are and like the grace that he has for your life. And I fell off on that on these 3 days as well. And in that, it felt that I lost that connection with, God a little bit. And I could kind of feel myself slipping, right? And, that's never a good feeling. And the fact that I identified that, I think, is major, right? Because the moment you drift, you can kind of just keep drifting, and all of a sudden you think you're fine, but then you're under the tide and, you're swept away. So if you're listening, I think the biggest thing is just knowing when you're being pulled. Are you being pulled in the right direction? If I was being pulled to be more productive, I was being pulled to maybe exercise more or, do more work, then that's a positive drift in the better direction, possibly because I'm in a better environment. But if I'm drifting because I'm on my phone too much, or I'm being pulled into social gatherings, or just not being pulled in the direction that I want to be in, knowing to identify that and then swim back harder in the right direction. Also, I realized that when I was making these excuses, I can't blame it on anything else other than myself. If I want to change, then I know that I am the ultimate catalyst to that change. These excuses are only because of me, and it's not because of anybody else. And that's hard sometimes to understand, because it's easy to give an excuse. It's easy to put your worries on something else, but everything is internal. Everything is self-motivated. So knowing that, I want to make these sacrifices, that this is the life that I chose, why would I want to go back and being the person that I was before I started this journey? Because I made the change for a reason. So just understanding that and kind of identifying these things, I think, is important. And those are just like a couple lessons from this week. They're all kind of, separated, but also all in the same limelight. And they also all kind of tie into the main topic for this week, which I want to talk about, which is the disturbances, the emotions that can affect, some of your other endeavors or just distractions. And so last week, like I said, I did have a big week, and I had 3 tests in school. I had a lab report due. I was interviewing for job companies. I received a job offer. My family issues, that one of my family members passed, that I was dealing with, so a loss of a family member. So a lot of things that were just going through my head, at this week, I let some of those emotions kind of carry over. So for one, I received a job offer for a company, which is amazing, right? Receiving a job offer, right? I realized, I'm set. If I graduate now, then, I have a job in hand. But in reality, they gave me, a pay that I wasn't expecting, and it was a lot lower than what I wanted. So that led to feelings of disappointment in myself, because you work all your life for, this one goal, to graduate high school, to get to college, graduate college, to get a great job offer that has a great pay. But when certain things don't line up, that can lead to disappointment. And I could feel that disappointment rubbing off to other factors of my life, me thinking about what else am I disappointment at, and, why am I thinking these thoughts, right? Why do I let one emotion carry over into other things in my life? Also with my interview, so I interviewed on Friday for a company that I really want to work at, right? So I have a lot of emotions tied up into this call, this job offer. And first off, I thought they were going to hit me on Monday for a response, whether I received the role or not. Because in my head, I'm thinking they have the whole weekend to make a decision. All right, they'll hit me on Monday, right? Monday come, no word. All right, it has to be Tuesday. They have money to make a decision, no word. Wednesday, no word. Thursday, it has to be Thursday, right? No word. All right, it's Friday, no word. So I still haven't heard back from this company, but me being in this week, I realized that I was letting my apprehensive feelings affect my company. I was letting my fear of failure, of not receiving this job offer, affect the rest of, my work. So it kind of made me take a seat back a little bit of my school, my company, and just everything that I kind of a part of my working out, because those fears, that the doubt, the just the things in my head that aren't positive, because of one thing, because of a company not calling me back, I allowed that to affect the rest of my life. And I think what I'm happy about is that I was able to identify this and try to understand the reason why. So I think the biggest thing, if you ever feel like one thing really has you down and it's affecting, how you feel, first off, try to pinpoint that emotion, pinpoint why you feel that way, and then understand why, and then try to mitigate those feelings by having internal discussions with yourself. Understand, why am I afraid to fail? Is my value really based off of this company that I'm applying to? So what does that look like? So I think that's a big thing of what I learned from this week, and just don't letting things affect you that may affect the rest of your endeavors. So for next week, I know my goals. I want to be able to have the shipment en route, and that'll be because I should be putting my shipment pay in for the sample today or tomorrow through Alibaba, pay that little $50 off, and then my shipment should be coming. And then I also want to just put more time in on research about general topics about e-commerce, learning more about the industry. What can I be doing now to just be better in general, and just do more work on that. What area can I do to improve? When I get this product in my hand, how am I really going to get it off? What does the Amazon Seller Central account, what does that really offer me? What is that dashboard? How does that operate? What can I learn about now? So before I actually do it, I already have a previous understanding. So that's going to be it. So let's get it on the week 5.